Hello out there, all my bookish friends in BookTube land, and welcome to another episode of Tristan and the Classics. Excuse my oodie, not very flash, is it? And my husky voice. I'm coming down with a cold, and I'm recording this in the evening. So, do you want to teach yourself literature? Do you want to get deeper into the classics? Well, if you subscribe to my channel, probably you do. And recently I gave an announcement that I was releasing a Patreon site for those of you who want to get exclusive and extra content from me. What I'm going to do in this video is explain exactly what you'll get in my Patreon, and what it is and what it isn't, and a little bit about me as well. So, without further ado, let's dig in, shall we? So my Patreon account has been set up specifically for those who are trying to teach themselves more about literature. You want to get deeper into understanding books, concepts about literature, maybe narrative and style and modes and form, all those kind of things. Maybe even literary criticism is something you've wanted to look at but daunted by the great tomes that you have to read to understand it. I've set up my Patreon account specifically for you. And what I want to do just in the rest of this video is quickly cover again the two tiers that I have set up over there that you can get exclusive material from, and then explain a little bit about myself and the motivations behind this Patreon, what it is and what it is not, because that's equally as important. If you go over to patreon.com and type in Tristan and the Classics, you will, actually I'll put a link down below, you will see there are two tiers you can opt to join. The first one is £3.49 or $4.50, and that's called the Book of the Month tier. So, I already have over there a list of a book per month from January to June that I will be reading. January, by the way, is Great Expectations as a phenomenal book. Now, what's going to happen? That allows you the whole month to read that book. And then at the end of the month, I will release, exclusively for Patreon members, a deep dive video on that book that has been read. Okay? I'll give you my opinions, I'll give you my thoughts, maybe sections that I found particularly beautiful or interesting. I do research on scholarly essays about the book and criticism about the book, which I will share with you in a video, like an hour or so long. And that's what you'll get. Now, I know this interests a lot of you because I get so many requests for, can you do another deep dive into a book? And that's exactly what you will get over at Patreon. If you're trying to teach yourself even more about literature, the second tier is called the Great Literary Adventure. And you'll see why I call it an adventure in a moment. What you get in that tier is you get the deep dive video from the first tier, and any extra bonus that comes in that tier as well. But you'll also get 3 other videos every single month. And what those videos will be all about literature, but will be wide and varying. So it might be that you get a video about narrative, okay? Or what is mode in literature, and what is form. It might be historical, because a lot of books, if you want to paint in a full picture of the world you're trying to inhabit, say Jane Austen and the Regency, we may want to look at the ideas of masculinity or femininity back then to see how the author was writing and why characters behave like they do. Or it could be specific events like the Reform Bill of 1832. I mean, do you know what that is? It plays a key role in a lot of books. It's lurking in the background. And the Chartists, who were they? So there's those kind of videos will be in there as well. At least every other month there'll be a video on Shakespeare, giving an overview of one of his plays, or maybe breaking down an extract from his. I do realise with Shakespeare that some people particularly want him and others not so much, so it may be that Shakespeare eventually gets separated into a tier of his own, but I will do my very best to explain him to you in a way that you can fall in love with him, okay? Now, I want to tell you the motivation about this Patreon and what it is not. this Patreon that I'm running is not a book club. So when I say there's a book a month, I'm not saying that I'm going to jump on and we all have to get in and discuss it together, because lots and lots of you actually just want to quietly learn by yourself. Okay, you don't want to be feel the need to be put in front of other people and share your thoughts. So it's not a book club. If you want to join a book club where you can share thoughts and perspectives with others, please go to Discord and join the Classics Reading Lounge. A lovely, wonderful community. I'm part of that, but I don't run it. So they're a wonderful community. But the Patreon, Tristan and the Classics, is not a book club, okay? My motivation for starting up on Patreon could best be explained by why I started originally with YouTube, and that was because I wanted to share my love of the classics and go deeper into them, to go beneath the surface. I was looking around when I first started YouTube. I was looking for videos explaining things in depth, and what I kept finding was, aside from the odd university lecture here and there, most of the videos I was watching personally seemed to be quite quick fix videos. It was almost like XYZ, say this to pass an exam, but literature is not about passing an exam. Shakespeare, when he wrote his plays, did not write them for people to have exams on. Literature is all about an exploration of the human condition, what it means to be us. And there is beauty in it. There is awe in it. And I wanted to appreciate literature more, finding how it works and its nuances and, the way it's structured and different ways of approaching it, so that I could really let it wrap around me and become part of me, and to live, like Harold Bloom says, to live more lives than you are capable of living on your own. Now, I know lots of others want that, but they weren't able to go to university and study, and are so trying to get into it now. That's where I find my position is quite handy, because I am self-taught. I never had the opportunity to go to university to study literature, despite the fact I read an awful lot and have always loved story. The reason being, I've got an anxiety disorder, which at the time would have made it simply impossible for me to focus for 3 years at university. But I ended up studying literature on my own, and used to find myself helping students of all levels, even in university. They might listen to a brilliant professor, but they couldn't understand what he was trying to say, and so I used to sit there and unpack it with them and make it clear, because my background, if you want to know a little about me, my background is in teaching. I'm not a teacher, but I was trained as a public speaker, specifically in taking concepts and explaining them to others. So that's sort of where my background lies. And I realised, with this YouTube channel that I've got, and that you so wonderfully supported me on, that there are so many who want to learn more about literature, but that is too daunting in a lot of places. If you look at some of these literary tomes to explain literature, not many people have been trained to read like that. But I enjoy reading those things. So what you get on the Patreon account, The Great Literary Adventure, is not a syllabus. It is not a course, a structured process. It's an adventure, which by default doesn't have an itinerary. Yes, I lay out the books I'm going to be reading, but the videos you'll get are very much like the deeper explainer videos that I do on this channel. So if you like those kind of videos and you want to learn about literature, that's what you'll get on Patreon. Because if I'm reading something and I start thinking, I'd like to focus more in on narrative, I'll do videos on narrative which you can watch. There may be questions you have which you can get in touch with me or comment and leave. I might not know the answer, but what I will do is I'm more than prepared to go off and learn the answer and then share it. So if that sounds good to you, by all means go over to Patreon, links below, and sign up. There are no videos on there yet, but there will be some coming very, very soon, within the first week of January. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please DM me on Instagram if you've got more specific questions that you want to ask about joining this Patreon setup. Until the next time that I see you, I wish you joy in your reading.